Hello, and welcome back to Fashion and Founders, the podcast. My name is Victoria Smith, and this week I was joined with Trinity Hislop, the founder of Third. Third is an AI-powered search, compare, and discovery platform for pre-loved luxury handbags featuring the largest range of rare and hard-to-find pieces available at present. This episode is not just for the vintage and luxury handbag lovers, but this is one of the first episodes in which a founder has really talked about the mental health component of being an entrepreneur. And as someone who wants to start their own business one day, I cannot thank Trinity enough for being open about this. And I just so appreciated her vulnerability and honesty about the difficulties that come with this process. She's very open about certain obstacles that she has faced and what she did to make sure that her mental health was still a priority while building her business, as well as the fact that confidence didn't come easy in doing this. It's something that is built and learned every single day. And I just so admire her about talking about these obstacles that she has faced and getting up and doing the work anyways, because she so believes in the idea of what she is building with Third. Trinity also talked about something very similar that Christine Locker did that I found to be a very interesting theme, I think, throughout this podcast and conversations I have with people in this fashion tech space. And it was that she is as well a solo, first-time, non-technical female founder building a tech business, and that fundraising as well has been a difficult, long process. I think for so many people, feeling like they aren't the cookie cutter mold of what a tech founder or entrepreneur quote unquote should look like could be a reason for them not to pursue their business. And I am so thankful for having these conversations with Christine and Trinity, because one of the biggest differences I think in entrepreneurship is the people who take the risks and do it anyways, do it even when they're scared, do it when they're getting no's, and just keep on persevering through it. I think it's the classic thing you hear that someone heard no hundreds and hundreds of times until the right person finally heard the idea and gave them that opportunity. But the founder had to never stop believing in what they were building. And with this podcast, I really wanted to be having conversations with founders who are in the thick of the happening of building their businesses. Don't get me wrong, I've listened to plenty of episodes of very successful CEOs and founders who are 20 years out, but it's a very different experience than hearing somebody who is in the day-to-day right now of getting up and fundraising and putting out fires and is still figuring out a lot of these things before they've had that aha moment that a lot of companies that are on podcasts have already gone through. It's much easier to talk about a failure or an obstacle in hindsight, but when you're in the thick of it right now and it happened yesterday or last week or an hour ago, and how you push through that and keep going, I really wanted to have those types of conversations with founders who are currently building their businesses. It was also very interesting to hear about Trinity's experience in the fashion tech space in London and Europe. And so that was another layer that I loved learning about. And I really loved recording this episode with Trinity and getting to know her. She is so lovely and kind. So let's get into the episode. And this week's highlight is the brand Valore. The founder, Maddie Douglas, shared this with me about her business. She said, I'm 24 years old and I started my business in my mom's garage when I was 19 during COVID. A born and raised thrifter, painter, rock collector, creator, hiker, and dog lover. We have a lot in common. My business Valore started from my personal love for creating and art and then turned into me teaching others how to create and express themselves through the silversmithing experience. From learning in my garage from YouTube to now teaching others from all over the world, Valore is a place for anyone and everyone to come create together and experience making jewelry hands-on. We host workshops in store, go live weekly on Instagram, and also offer handmade custom options online. Currently, we have free holiday charms for our permanent jewelry workshop, so come stop by in store and create a piece for yourself or a loved one. I came across Valore on Instagram and immediately this brand caught my eye, and the fact that she makes these herself is just so cool to me. Maybe you've noticed a theme throughout these episodes, but I'm just so inspired by people who just make things themselves and create over consume. I've also done a couple silversmithing classes. So if I'm ever in Utah, I am 100% taking one of her classes to learn more because these pieces are incredibly beautiful. Definitely check them out on TikTok, Instagram, and their website. I love that you can order a custom piece. They have vintage ceramic stones that could become rings and necklaces, and they're just so beautiful. I can't wait to explore more about this brand. I think I'm going to be ordering a custom piece very soon. So thank you, Maddie, for sharing. Hi, Trinity.
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here with you in London and that we get to meet in person after a lot of messages exchanged. So can you do a little introduction about you?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me, firstly. My name's Trinity Hislop. I'm the founder of Third, or thirdfind.com, and we are a search and comparison platform for pre-loved luxury handbags. We partner with the world's most trusted luxury resellers to show all of their bags inventory in one place. So a little bit like Skyscanner, but for the bags category, basically.
I love it. And can you go a bit into the beginning of Third? What was the initial point of the idea and how you got started?
Yeah, so I don't actually come from a fashion background myself. I was working in content and marketing with a few different startups, and I love the fast-paced environment and the creativity and collaboration. And at the same time, I have always been super interested in pre-loved fashion. I use all the familiar marketplaces to sell stuff while studying and make a bit of a side hustle out of it. And when I got one of my first paychecks from freelancing, I was looking for a specific pre-loved luxury handbag and went to the usual marketplaces to find it. Couldn't find what I was looking for and did some research and found some incredible resale businesses that existed and focused specifically on luxury as a category. So I felt like there was a need to bring together the whole of pre-loved luxury resale into one space to make it easy for people to discover. I actually then went and spoke to some resale businesses based here in London, asked them if they'd be interested in joining the platform just to get an idea about the kind of the landscape. And within a day, I had 10 people say yes to coming on board a platform that didn't exist yet. So I felt like there was a need for it, which was great to know. And then from there, managed to put together a bit more of a business idea. We narrowed it down to the bags only category because there's so much strength there. I think it's over 49% of the luxury resale fashion market is taken up by handbags, and as a category in itself, it's a really interesting one. And then have since kind of built out these partnerships with resellers to build out a platform for discovery of pre-loved bags. So yeah, that's where we're at now, but it's still very early days.
Yeah. Wow, I love that brief synopsis. I feel like there's a lot there. 49%, I didn't know that number. My thinking at first was like, oh, bags, you don't have to any size. It doesn't matter who you are. Clothing, it's it's a small on them, but not on me. It doesn't fit right. Shoes, there's no sizes for a person. And I think they last longer than clothes and shoes.
Exactly, yeah.
So they're a great investment piece.
They are. And it's really interesting because, like you said, the data around the product is a lot cleaner. So that's why when we were looking at, obviously we're building out a kind of tech platform at the end of the day, the way that we were looking at the product data of these pieces from all these different resellers and trying to organize that in one place, the bags category is a lot easier to organize because, like you said, there's no sizing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still complicated because there's material and location of the product and the new pricing of the product, and that's why we've built out a comparison tool so that users can compare same original pieces or similar pieces side by side for the values that matter to you as a user. But as a category, I think there's a lot around there. Like you said, they are investment pieces. They're pieces that you can buy and use once and easily resell again. So yeah, I've learned so much about this category since we focused on it, and I think it's a really exciting space to be in.
Do you have a lot of luxury handbags?
I don't own a single luxury handbag, which is crazy because I'm always talking about myself as a bit of a bag person. I love them. I have been lucky to kind of borrow mum's luxury handbags over the years, but I made it in my mind once we get going, it will be a chance for me to invest in my first bag. But for now, it's helping other people find them, and then from there, hopefully secure.
Yeah.
secure
I
one.
feel the same where I talk a lot about vintage, I think. Do you own all this vintage? Like, no, it's really expensive.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's about being savvy. Like, I think that's why I wanted to build out this platform, because there's a lot of education around the pre-loved world that we need to get out there. And handbags as a category, like we've mentioned, they are a luxury asset class. So once you understand that it might take a bit of investment to buy a piece, but you know that in the future it might give you a return, or you can be clever about how you use and then resell and lose only a little bit of money on the products. There's a lot of education around that, and yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah. And on the partnership side, you said you reached out to a bunch of stores and they were seemingly very excited before you even built it.
Yeah.
How has building these partnerships and working with existing brands been?
Honestly, it's been my favorite part of the journey so far. I think we've been incredibly lucky to partner with, we've got over 26 resale partners on board at the moment across 4 different continents around the world, and obviously accepting new resale partners on a regular basis. I think building those relationships with the partners is so important to our success, because obviously they're sitting on a platform with their competitors essentially. But the beautiful thing about resellers is that all the products that each reseller has are all individual, because like I said before, each product varies in price, condition, location, etc. So it's giving them a way to hopefully match the product to the person that's looking for it. And it's almost like a dating app in a way. Like, we want to match that person to the product as quickly and seamlessly as possible. But yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. We started with some smaller resellers based here in the UK. Loop Generation was our first partner. They're brilliant, beautiful. They've got a beautiful store here in London. Brilliant partner. And then since we've partnered with some more kind of bigger global players such as Rebag, and recently partnered with Vestiaire as well, which is a huge jump for us. Obviously a much more kind of globally recognized business, but also sitting on the same platform now as some of the other kind of smaller but as incredibly impressive resellers on the platform too.
Yeah, that's so exciting that you started smaller, but I think they're well known here. And I think London's one of the best places to shop vintage. So it does feel like a big deal.
Yeah, we're really lucky here. I think obviously I'm understanding the market a lot more now, and I've spoken to a lot of different resellers across the globe, but we are lucky with, even just when I went door knocking that day nearly 2 years ago, like within a perimeter of a small area of London, there's so many good resellers. But yeah, like I said, it's giving everyone a kind of fair space to compete. That's what Third wants to do. I think everyone has incredible business models, and we felt like there was no need to build out another resale platform. We just want to support and show off the businesses that already exist, essentially.
Yeah. And with Vestiaire Hunter, that was quite recent, right?
Yes, so this has literally happened in the last week, which is really exciting. Wow. So they've just onboarded onto the platform, so you can discover their products available on Third. Obviously, one of the things that we wanted to achieve is the biggest range of inventory available. And because they obviously have a lot of products on their platform already, we've now got over 130,000 bags on the site, including Vestiaire and then all our other resellers as well. I think it shows that we're moving in the right direction, that people want to get on board on the platform at this early stage. And obviously, like I said, we are just starting, but the trust from the reseller partners to come on board at this stage is so amazing. And I feel very lucky that people have wanted to come on board and see that there's a potential in what we're building, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential.
Thank you.
And I'm interested in you as a founder as well. So you went physically door to door to ask these brands.
Yes.
I feel like that takes courage and guts. And a lot of people have ideas and they're like,
if it's the right time, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But really, you have to take that action. What were those early, I know it's still early days, but what were the early days?
To be honest, it was being around the right people at the right time. I was very lucky to be working with some incredible founders when I was freelancing in content and marketing, and a friend in particular who really pushed me to go down this route of trying to become a founder. I'm not naturally a super confident person. I find that kind of thing super scary, but he was a big part of me getting myself out there and going and making those connections at first. And I think it just got the ball rolling, and now doing it by myself, I think that has been the best thing about being a founder in terms of the confidence building is it makes you throw yourself out there. You have to start networking with people. You have to meet people that have got experience in different categories of business so that you can learn from them. Like, I am so not a finance person, but I have networked with some brilliant people that have taught me a lot more about managing my finances. I'm not necessarily like that well versed in the legal side of things, and I've learned a hell of a lot on that side of things, but also just the fashion industry as a whole. I think I've been very lucky to use LinkedIn a lot and get some incredible people backing what we're building. So that people like, I've got Candice Bregas, who is from the founding team of Net-a-Porter and Farfetch, and she's on board as an e-commerce advisor. And then I've recently onboarded Angelique Van Dijk, who is the ex-CMO of Alo Yoga, as our marketing advisor as well. So it still baffles me that these people like want to help me, but I think that if you're skeptical about going out and building something, you have to just know that people are so amazing. Like, I've met some incredible people along the way who are willing to help. It's just working a way to find them and take on as much as advice as you can.
Yeah, it must give you so much belief in the idea, and like you as a founder as well, if all these other people are, you know, signing off basically on you that they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, every day is a challenge, and it can be like, it's a massive roller coaster building a business, and I'm pretty much doing it alone. And like I said, I've got amazing advisors around me. So some days do feel like they're really, really tough, but having people of that level believe in what I'm building is like a reminder to just keep going. And there will be hard days, but there's also some really great days.
Yeah. And I love what you said about this has been kind of confidence building.
Yes.
For you, because I've heard that from other people as well. Like, I wasn't naturally confident or outgoing or extroverted or all these attributes that people give me now, but I had to be showing up for this business, and I kept proving to myself over and over again that I was following through, and that naturally helped me build confidence.
Yeah,
I think that shouldn't be stopping anybody to even start, because fake it till you make it.
Oh, 100%. And also, if you're a founder, it's in your hands. I think it's managing your time and what you're capable of doing. This time last year, I was not in a great space mentally. I was finding the in-person meetings incredibly difficult. I always suffered quite badly with anxiety. So I just took a step back and I took more meetings online. And I think it is about managing it in the best way that works for you. I think we're so lucky nowadays that we can do Zoom meetings if we're not feeling great, or we can go for coffee instead of going for a drink. I don't know, like, you manage it the best way that works for you. And I do think that you'll not only meet people that are more relevant to you as a person and will get you more as a person if you do it that way, but also you'll feel more in control of what you're building. I don't know, did you have a similar experience? Did you feel like you were like pushing yourself, or did you take people's advice around you?
Yeah, I think especially at first, and I mentioned there's like a startup I'm doing on the side, but even with the podcast itself too has been very confidence building. And the first time I interviewed someone in person was in this room, and I was so nervous. I was like, kept looking at the cameras thinking it had stopped. I just was so like, oh my God, you know, and I was sweating out of nerves. And then as I went on and as I built that skill, I definitely felt way more comfortable. And I think the skill itself has grown, and I didn't really see it until I was doing an interview with someone. They were like, oh my God, like I was sweating the whole time. I was so nervous. So I was like, oh my God, like I don't feel that way anymore. I've grown that skill set, and I feel the same way with opportunities with this podcast too, where I was like, would anyone want to be on it? So, no, I'm offering you a platform that helps share and helps you shine. And it's been great for networking. But I love what you said about there's you can still put yourself out there, but in maybe a safer way at first to practice those skills, because it doesn't have to be one. There's no one linear path of success.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Yeah, it is definitely taking it into your own hands, and like you said, you just become more comfortable in certain situations. Like for some people it will never be easy, but it will get easier with time, and I think you just have to do what's right for you at the end of the day. And I think we're lucky because we talk a lot more about mental health, and there's still a lot more that needs to be done to help support people in these situations. But the beautiful thing of being a founder is like you're building a business based on your values as well, and I think it seems like you've done a similar thing, which is really cool. I really love it.
Yeah, I love speaking with founders because I think they're some of the most interesting people, because to live each day, whether it's a roller coaster of up or down, it's, I do that the opposite way.
It's a bit like
that. It's hard, but you're leading with heart and your values, and I find it so fascinating. I think there's so much to learn from people. And you shared a piece of advice quote with me earlier that I'd love to hear again.
Yeah, I was saying, I think it was about this time last year, I was really struggling in those kind of in-person meeting situations, and like everything just felt so disorientated. And somebody I actually have networked with who has become a really, really amazing support in my journey so far, she said success is always waiting for you. There's no rush to get there. And I think it's like what we were just saying, you have to take it into your own hands to be successful. And it's measured in so many different ways. It might be that you get up and do a Zoom call and that's your success of the day, or it might be that you partner with a new business, or you meet someone who's going to help you in your career. I think it is all different, and anyone that wants to be successful will get there in their own way. It's kind of like what we were saying, but I always remember that because it was such a poignant piece of advice, and I think it's so true to everyone.
Because it can sometimes feel like there is a timeline of why didn't I get Forbes 30 under 30, or why hasn't this happened for me yet when this other person had this like success point, and everyone's journey is just different.
Yeah, exactly. So. And I say to people all the time, there's a high chance that my business could fail. I'm a female founder, which makes it harder for success just based on the landscape. I'm a first-time founder, and getting investment is so tricky, and all of those things. But if you're still learning every day, then that's not a failure in my eyes. I think I've met incredible people that I am incredibly indebted to, and that has been the best part of my journey is learning from the people around me. I think there's so much that you can take from an experience of building a business. So it's maybe it sounds really emotional about it, but I do think that it's like the best thing that you can possibly do if you have an idea is to go for it and force yourself to take as much out of that experience as you can, basically.
Yeah. It's interesting that you just pointed that part out, because I was editing a clip for the next episode that's about to be released, and it's with a founder. Her name's Christine Locker. I can tell you, I don't know if you know the business, but the part of it, because I really wanted to showcase this, that she still did it anyway. She was like, I am a solo, first-time, non-technical female founder. It was really hard for me to invest, and then showing that like she still could do it.
Yes.
And I really wanted to put like that piece out there to hopefully reach other people who are also first-time solo, non-technical female founders starting a fashion tech or a tech or whatever might be business, and not feel doubtful. Because I think so many women have imposter syndrome and it stops us. But I think the world is a better place with these businesses being built in it, and with people like you and her who are just taking that leap and doing it anyways.
Yeah, go ahead. Honestly, that's incredible. I think there's so many people that are in our shoes, as I'm the same, but not enough is spoken about it. And I guess it goes back to what I was just saying as well about you can't do everything. So no, I'm not a technical founder, but like I have my strengths in content and marketing and like visual strategy, that kind of thing. And I don't have a desire to learn a huge amount about like how to build a website, that kind of thing. But there are people that are really, really great at doing that anyway. So I'm so lucky that I've taken them on board, and you build out a team. And like you said, I think there's so much strength in going for it and celebrating that. Like, we should celebrate it. I'm sure you could do a whole podcast just on non-technical female first-time founders alone. And I think it's so interesting. And also from the technical side of things, I think based on the way that our world is moving, businesses are tech businesses, really. Like, most businesses will have a website. Most businesses will use Shopify if you're an e-commerce, or like some kind of technology to make your business work. So I think in a way it will probably with time be irrelevant. Like, technology is a part of everything we do. So highlighting that, like, I'm non-technical feels necessary now, but maybe hopefully in the future maybe it won't be a thing.
Yeah, I just found that parallel so interesting because you
so
guys are still doing it.
amazing.
It shouldn't stop anyone, I think, unless it's like you have no resources and like it's going to be bad, but do it, you know?
Exactly.
That's what I think.
You do learn, like, I've learned so much about technology that I never expected to. And it's interesting. Like, it is really interesting that it feeds into so many parts of our lives, like, even just like on a really basic level. I always say that Third is like Skyscanner for luxury handbags. I now know how Skyscanner works. Like, it's so stupid, but like those kind of things that, like, they're everyday things in our lives, but it can tie into other things and it might influence another business idea or like a kind of change in your business's trajectory if you understand technology or other parts of the business more. So
yeah, totally. And on this tech theme, we were talking a bit earlier that fashion tech is, at least for me, a newer terminology, but that it applies to Third. What are your thoughts on the term? Does it make sense for you? And does it maybe feel more applicable in the UK? Maybe it's like only recently gone to the US.
I think it's a really interesting one because I think I was saying to you, like, when I'm applying for funding or for events or conferences, that kind of thing, it often says, what kind of business are you? And in the drop down, there's never really an option for fashion tech, rarely anyway. And of course, like, so many businesses fall into lots of brackets, like, we're a sustainable business, we are an e-commerce business, like, all those things. But I do think fashion tech is actually a huge industry in itself that maybe isn't celebrated enough, maybe, like you said, a bit more in the UK. But there are so many incredible fashion tech businesses that I can think of as inspiration, obviously looking at Farfetch and Valore. And I think it's just, we need to start accepting new businesses into that landscape. And I think the opportunity that fashion tech is creating for fashion businesses, and obviously I'm more in like focused or understanding of the luxury space, is really exciting. So, for example, luxury businesses that are wanting to move into resale, there are incredible fashion tech businesses that have already built out ways to organize resale for those fashion businesses, and there's no need for those big giants to take it in-house when these technologies already exist. So yeah, I think it needs to be talked about more, and the kind of potential of it as a market is huge.
Yeah, because I think my first thought about fashion tech, and I think a lot of people, is, Web3 and digital NFT clothing. I don't want to, I don't know. And for me, really, it's like exactly what you said. It's the technology and the tools that's already built to help resale, rental, like discovery, like you're doing. It's solving consumer problems.
Exactly. Yeah. That's honestly the beauty of technology. You've said it perfectly. That's why I wanted to go down this route with that. Like, it was solving a problem that was clear to me, that the kind of discovery of individual pre-loved pieces is more difficult because it takes time to search through different platforms. It takes more money because obviously you're not necessarily getting the best price, etc. And technology is incredible because it can solve that problem easily. And like you said, it's just opening up so many opportunities for like circular economy. And I think for the for circularity in fashion to exist, like, technology is a huge part of that.
Yeah. And like Google Chrome extensions, I've seen quite a bit of. So
yes,
I think we're just on the cusp of the industry really growing and people seeing the real need and the investment opportunity. Retail is a huge spender. I don't know what the exact statistic is for like dollars or pounds, but it's so much money that like, and it's such a huge part of our lives now, especially after COVID, online shopping. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting. And obviously in the resale market like that, it's just like the circularity model essentially is going to increase like spending in fashion. So for example, if somebody finds a pre-loved bag, buy a third, they wear it for a year or use it for a year and then want to sell it again, they'll use the kind of platforms that we're partnered with to resell that bag likely. And that our business model works in a great way where we'll then take commission again from it and that same sale. So I think there's a lot that's from the financial side of things, the kind of possibilities are much more endless and need to be celebrated more. I guess.
And how has fundraising or angel investing been for you? I know you're definitely like early days, but where has that kind of been in your journey?
Yeah, it's hard. Like it's really, really hard. We've just spoken about a first time female non-technical founder. All of that definitely doesn't help when you are going for funding. I was incredibly lucky to receive angel investment back in March last year from someone who is much more kind of tech focused and understands the kind of possibilities with thirds from a data point of view. And he's also been incredibly supportive of me and my journey, and feel very lucky to have found an angel investor who really is an angel in that sense, somebody that is willing to offer their time and support. But I've also spoken to a lot of people that aren't necessarily the right fit but have offered investment, and maybe foolishly I have turned people away because I think it's so important for me as a first-time founder to be learning from people that want to support me, and I can take from their experiences to learn how to build out Third as a platform. It's tricky. I think it's the best thing that I've done is just speak to as many people as you can. I use LinkedIn a lot and it's been amazing for my networking, and even if I haven't ended up taking on people as from an investment point of view, I've met some of my advisors in that way. And I think it is just all about kind of building relationships. I think it's really important to have investors that are supporting you as a founder and backing you and your idea. And not just taking people's money and running with it. I'm a guilty person as well, so I definitely couldn't do that. But it's hard. I am still currently fundraising at the moment, and that's like a year and a half down the line from the first investment. But I think once you get that ball rolling, it does start to get a little bit easier, but maybe not, but a little bit.
Congrats on at least having any fundraising at all. That means someone out there believes in it.
Yeah. So. That's the thing. It is a kind of constant reminder of I've been given this opportunity because somebody believed in my idea, and that is an incredible thing in itself. But yeah, I would say in terms of taking on investment, you can say no and be open to taking on people that also want to help you and your journey as well, because there's always so much that you can learn from people that have made it already. Basically.
Yeah. And I think, be picky and stay true to your company. If it wasn't right for you, it's the right choice.
Maybe some people have been like, you're an idiot, but I don't know. It felt right. I think gut feeling is also another thing. Sometimes that whether people want the best for you and your business or whether they just want to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It's absolutely fine, but it has to work for both people involved.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been getting a lot of questions from people who listen to the podcast about fashion tech because they're like, this is cool and new. I don't know about this. So do you have any tips or resources or really anything that comes to mind, as I feel like I have to ask you that you're a fashion tech founder?
I think I've mentioned it a few times, but it is like you were saying as well, it's meeting people in that space and learning from it. LinkedIn has been incredible for me. I think I've had people reach out to me that are either in marketing or doing fashion at university or college, and they've reached out and asked to kind of speak to me or learn from my experience. That's via LinkedIn as well. And in the same way that I'm reaching out to people that are hugely successful entrepreneurs in my space and learning from them. And I've learned from both conversations. So I do think it is finding something in particular that you're interested in fashion tech. So whether it is resale or rental, whether it's the kind of B2B SaaS businesses, find something that you're interested in and then just do your research. I think my idea for Third came from me just looking for a product, and then from that you go down a rabbit hole, and it's really easy to stumble across things. And if you're somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur but you don't necessarily have an idea yet, just keep keep focused on things that make you interested, or trying to find problems that you have and ways that you could build out a business to solve them. But yeah, networking is my number one thing.
Amazing. And I think I'll do this as a speed round,
Sure.
but because you see so many bags.
I do. I see a lot of bags every day.
What would you say is the best investment bag?
I think it's personal to you. I think investment pieces are, obviously you can look at it from a financial point of view. We know that like Hermes bags and Chanel bags tend to appreciate in value over time, and because of like the rarity of pieces as well. But I think it's also really important to track trends and look at what people are wearing. I know the Hermes Pickle is like currently coming up in a lot of conversations at the moment, and it's not necessarily an Hermes bag that people like think of first at the moment. But if you're in the space and you're watching, you can be smart about buying quickly and then hopefully creating a return in the future. But also a product that you really, really want and you know you're going to get loads of love out of is an investment to you personally. And you never know what trends will pop up again in the future. And I think it is just about knowing a little bit about the industry, and hopefully that's where our platform can end up educating people. But yeah, it's a personal one, I think.
What is your favorite bag? Not that you own, but maybe it can be, but style.
The reason I came up with that was because of the Gucci Jackie bag. Like at the time I was looking for just like a classic black one and couldn't find the like specific one I wanted. So I feel indebted to that bag because it's made me come up with the business idea. So I think that would have to be my first, like at least a model of the Gucci Jackie would be one of my first purchases. But yeah, the list is endless otherwise.
Really? Is there any trends that you're seeing on Third, or maybe in general in handbags, that you see on the rise or coming in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's so interesting because there's two ends of the spectrum in the kind of the way that I look at it on Third is there's a lot of Gen Zs that are buying their first luxury pieces pre-loved because it's more affordable, and they are more kind of like focused on trends. Like the Louis Vuitton Speedy has come back in a little bit, like I said about the Pickle, Hermes Pickle. But then also on the other end of the scale, we've got like some really high net worth consumers that are looking at their investment pieces, and obviously Birkins and Kellys are like, and in specific like sizes and colors, they're always changing over time. But again, it's a really interesting one to watch. Like we want to become a stock market for pre-loved handbags. I think there's so much that we can do with our technology around that. And that's where we aim to push the platform to be. So when that kind of becomes more obvious on the platform, I think it will help people like follow those trends, track the price of their products, see the original price, the current price, the future price, etc. And that's all around the kind of data. So yeah, just keeping alert with those kind of things.
Yeah, I love that phrase, the stock market of
things. That's the goal. That is the goal.
Yeah. Do you have a dream bag?
I think honestly, again, it will just be like the dream is to be able to afford like the first bag that I really, really want that's like maybe a little bit out of my current price range. That would be really exciting. And the dream bag is like when I feel like I'm reaching a dream. Obviously a dream is endless, hopefully with Third. But yeah, once I've got some more customers on the platform, people shopping through, and like the dream of Third is becoming a bit more reality, I think I'll probably then be able to find my dream bag.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Are there any like resale myths or maybe tips you might have?
I would say, I think people think the resale market is largely online when actually only 30% of it is digitized at the moment. I think people don't realize that so much product is still offline, like whether it's in charity shops, whether it's sitting in your cupboard at home, whether it's in like jumble sales or vintage like thrift stores, etc. There's so much product out there. So it is about being savvy. If you're looking for specific pieces, we're so lucky to have these amazing digital platforms that put more online, put your pieces up there. You never know who might want them. And if you are looking for specific pieces, then look further than the internet, which I shouldn't be saying because obviously I want everyone to stay on the
like
platform.
It's all on Third.
But yeah, if you find it might then come online. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's all about being savvy, basically.
Yeah. Can I tell you the piece that you said? Like, it might just be sitting in someone's cupboard. That keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have dream, like, shoes or bags or whatever it might be, or something I know would mean so much to, like, my mom if I could find it for her. And I'm like, I know it's not online, and I know it's in someone's, like, mom's closet, and they don't know that I'm, like, here dying for it.
Well, honestly, like, that was one of the things when I came up with Third was the main problem that I wanted to solve, because I think, like, that's what you think. You're like, I know it's out there somewhere. So almost like we kind of like spoke about, and one thing I'd love to implement at some point on the platform is almost like a forum where people can be like, hey, I'm looking for this piece. Does anyone have it? And like connecting those product to people with just more of a kind of in a conversational way. But yeah, it's a really interesting problem to solve about like matching person to product when it is so vast, basically.
Yeah, I know, because there's so much out there.
There's so much out there. So that's why we don't need to make any more. Put everything in that circular economy, and you'll find the pieces that you want because they will already exist.
Exactly. That's why I think the resale market is really the only thing that can combat fast fashion like Shein, because they're just so quick and cheap that people are like, sorry, I'm going to do this instead. It's easy. Yeah. But if resale becomes more digitized or just more accessible, I think that can actually be a true competitor to fast fashion. I don't think resale companies that are more of a bit different are competing against each other.
No.
I think it's very much more collaborative, and they're all like, Shein is the enemy.
Yeah, 100%. If anything, it's so much more of a collaborative space. And I think there's a lot of pressure to stop shopping new. I think we put a lot of pressure on us. I always say it's like a bit like dieting. If you go to start diets, I can't eat chocolate, sweets, crisps, all that stuff, and you just give up everything, and then it's impossible. If you stop your kind of usual habits in shopping in that way, it won't work. But if we ease ourselves into buying pre-loved, I think eventually it will just be the kind of go-to, the norm, and you will start to back away from buying fast fashion because it becomes so much more like easy and seamless to shop pre-loved. Yeah. And like you said, it's much more of a kind of community, which is so much nicer. I think there's a lot less like competitive nature in the pre-loved market. But yeah,
I just, every time a new business pops up, it makes me so happy. And even though like my startup will be in this space, I'm like, I don't see this as competition. I see it that there's more investment and eyes on this whole industry instead.
100%.
So it makes me very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for what you're building. I can't wait to learn more.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could have this conversation. I'm so excited to see everything that happens with Third.
Thank you.
And I have a feeling it'll be big.
Thank you so much.
I wish you so much success.
Thank you, and thank you so much for your time. It's a wonderful platform you've created.
Thank you.